So just having a look at some of the main cryptos on my watch list here to see how they're going. I'm only going to look at the weekly and daily just to have a quick look. But there's a lot of cryptos that have sold off very heavily, and some others that are not doing too bad, like Monero here. So I'm just looking at when you start to get this oversold look like this with the stochastic on the weekly. That's mostly what I'm looking for, and just getting Monero is one of the few that stayed above the weekly Keynesian, so I think that's quite a good sign for Monero in the longer term. This is only a short-term pullback. I'm quite sure of that. I'm quite sure cryptos are not going to be over with. That's not. I always said these are not suitable for long-term investing. They're only suitable for short-term trading, and I still maintain that. What people do with their own money, though, is up to them, but I'm not saying to be a buy and hold investor, that's for sure. I trade short-term, and that's just what I do, but that's not going to work for most people, whatever. I'm just showing what I look at, and if you're not interested, that's fine. Dash has still got quite momentum to the downside. It sold off very heavily. To my surprise, I thought it would have held up better than that. Ripple sold off. Ripple's coming to oversold on the weekly now on the stochastic now. So NEM's not too bad, but NEM's found a bit of a base here. It's turning about quite oversold on the weekly now. Nothing much to see there yet. Bitcoin Cash is just holding on to the weekly Keynesian at the moment, so that could be interesting to see what that one does. Neo's still got strong momentum to the downside. Horizon that's quite oversold now. That's come back a lot, which I'm not surprised about that. It had a very good run up, and what's the next US? Tether. Don't know what that one's doing in there. It shouldn't be. Ethereum still got strong momentum to the downside. What's that one? Bitcoin Gold. Yeah, that's got still strong momentum to the downside on Bitcoin Gold. Decred is still got strong momentum to the downside. Ethereum is maybe looking oversold now, but it can still go quite a bit further. It can still stay oversold for quite a while, so it's not necessarily an indication of a turning point when it gets oversold. It's still got strong momentum. Zcash still got strong momentum to the downside. It's had a huge sell-off. Zcash has here, and this is what I want. This is what I wanted to see, a big sell-off like this. I wasn't expecting it, but this is right up my street now, so I can get in. And Monaco, this had a big sell-off, much more than I expect on Monaco. That's awesome. I'll get another go at Monaco, which Tron is another good one that's been pulled right back. The further these come back, the better. It's not looking like turning either yet. Still got strong momentum. OMG, yeah, that's come back a lot too, so I might start looking at picking some of these up. BSV, Bitcoin SV, don't know much about that one yet. It's hard to say. IOTA, yeah, still got strong momentum. This is awesome to come back this far. Get another go at it. IOTA's one of my favourites. Chainlink, this has been a surprise one. I was expecting this to sell off quite hard. Look how it's held up on the weekly. It's quite something when others have come back as hard as they have. This to be holding up like this at the moment, it's holding up, that is, but to be holding up without, well, it's had a reasonably heavy retracement, but not comparative to what it went up by though. Chainlink I think is going to be a real good one, but coming once it's given time to settle down. Cardano is another of my favourites. That's still got a momentum to the downside, so all these great ones. Dash again. Sentiment, didn't know much about sentiment, but it's come back a lot though. It's going to be interesting to see what that does. EOS is one of my favourites. EOS has come back a lot, awesome. Get it at a bargain basement discount when it turns, that's fantastic. Zcash has come back a lot. That's come back, full big fallback on Zcash. Not looking at getting into that. What's Lumen? Lumen's a good one, but Lumen hasn't really done that much shit. I thought Lumen would have done a bit better, but Binance really didn't come back as much as I thought. Binance is still above the weekly Kijunsen quite well. So to be still above the weekly Kijunsen, it's got very overextended here. But to pull back on this, then I might look at it. I never really trusted Binance, but geez, it's done much better than I thought it would though. BitShares, no, never really did much with BitShares. Gnosis, no, don't know about Gnosis. Litecoin's come back a heck of a lot. That still looks like it's got strong momentum to the downside at this stage, but won't be looking at Litecoin for a while. But NEM, I thought NEM would have done better, but NEM will come around eventually. VeChain, thought VeChain would have done much better than it has, but VeChain was very hyped up back in the previous rally. A lot of these ones that were hyped didn't really end up doing much this time around so far. But what's this Trezor? I think Trezor is XTZ. I think that's Trezos rather. I think that's Trezos. I don't know, I think it's Trezos, but that's basic attention token. This one, this BAT's come back a lot. That's awesome because that's quite a good one too. Lisk, I quite like Lisk, but Lisk didn't really do much. So that's about it. And just a quick one to have a look what's what. There's still could be another. Oh, I didn't put Bitcoin in. I was going to have a look at Bitcoin. Hang on a second. I'll just put in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's holding up remarkably well on the weekly here. It's holding up well above the Kijunsen, but it's on the momentum's turning to the downside though. So it wouldn't surprise me if Bitcoin did break this. It's in a daily distribution at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin ultimately break this support here. If it holds this channel here into the longer term, that's going to be really surprising. But at this stage, it's tested here and it's held. I was expecting it to break down here, but it held. It's bounced off again, so that certainly held up better than I thought it was going to, that's for sure. And yeah, there's some quite good ones here that are on bargain basement prices, so I'll be certainly looking to get stuck into some of these again when the time's right. But I'm going to be just patient at the moment and just watch what happens with it. But certainly been a more severe pullback than what I would have expected. But let's see actually percent change on this list. What's this like? Some of these. They're down quite a bit on the percent change on these. So anyway, that'll do for now. I'll come back and have a look when things start to look like they might be bottoming a bit. I might do another update, watch list update then when things look like they might be finding a bit of a long-term support again. But that's it for now. Bye.